who was an owner of a salsa ranch. He took the ingredients for salsa and he sold them. And then one day someone burnt down all his crops, and then he got high on salsa ingredients. And then he felt homosexual for a minute. And then his horse shot him in the face. The end.
That had a very bittersweet ending, but it was beautiful. Now I will tell you guys the story.
His horse, his eyeballs were replaced with the barrels of a revolver. That horse is still roaming around and killing plantation owners.
To this day?
That live alone. Yes. That live alone in the middle of nowhere, where no one can find it.
Well, looks like I'm in trouble. Now,
I don't think he goes after slave owners, so you're all good.
Well,
if you're both a plantation owner and a slave owner, then you are okay. But if you're just a plantation owner, you're in trouble.
Oh, I thank God I'm good. But I have a story that will shiver up and down your spine. It's the story of the Piccolo Pete. There was a boy who lived out in the woods. His name was Piccolo Pete. Every day he'd play the piccolo down by the ravine. He had a fascination with wolves and dogs. And one day he was playing
he another kin?
Oh yeah, he was another kin, all right. He thought that he was part horse. Okay, he would run around naked.
That's my favorite animal, though.
You know, but he'd run around naked pretending to be one. And people didn't want to look at him because it was technically child pornography.
I hope a 600-pound person rode him.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. That did happen, but he managed to survive. But the horror of it was one day he decided to study those wolves and play his piccolo. He would always carry giant bags of raw steak with him for no reason, because he liked the smell of it. And, you know, he was playing his piccolo, trying to attract the wolves and become their friends. But, the wolves came up to him smelling that snake, but no, they didn't want the snake. They wanted to eat his nuts. They tore him clean off. And, that boy still roams around today. Well, he's an old man now because it happened, but basically there's a naked old man thinking he's a horse with no nuts running around with giant bags of steak. And he targets people with sombreros to hit them with his bags of steak. Jesus. You good?
What sombrero are you speaking of?
Oh, well, I guess you're fine then. No sombreros. You got the stories.
Let me tell you the legend of the transgender horse.
Oh dear.
It's simply a spirit, a demon horse, and it can take control of your horse, and it can do anything it wants with it. It can make its hair just fall off, and it can make your female horse grow genitalia of a male horse, or it can make a male horse shrink its genitalia to female. And sometimes it'll randomly put pelts on the back of your horse, and your saddle will just vanish. Quite a spooky tale.
That sounds utterly terrifying. What about the hair on the back of the tail? The mane?
That's not the mane, that's the tail hair.
Oh, the tail.
The mane is up on the head.
Oh yeah.
Idiot.
Oh yeah. Well, what about the tail hair?
That's all gone too, and it ends up looking like a stick. It's just waggling on around back there.
Damn. That seems a bit rough around the edges. Man. Well, I got one more story, and now I'm gonna FaceTime Sydney. There was once.
Then I'm gonna have to deal with an hour of being muted.
Oh no. No. Friend. I won't mute you this time.
Sure.
Yeah, alright. I'm gonna tell you the story of the elderly prostitute.
Let me tell you one story after you tell a story. Because it's a really good story.
Alright. Well, once upon a time, there was an elderly prostitute. She was 97 years old. And she hung out in the town of Strawberry. Okay? The whole town of Strawberry. And she was the top-rated prostitute in all of Strawberry, okay? Men would come from all over the world to get to be with this woman. But one day there was a new prostitute in town. Her name was Vaginilla. Her name was Vaginilla Pasiana. Vaginilla Pasiana. And she was she had the meanest crotch in all the land. And one day she challenged the elderly prostitute to a gun duel. And they said, we're going to settle this out in the middle of the woods. And so she's like, oh yeah, okay, we'll settle this. But here's where the horror begins. The elderly prostitute didn't use guns to the gunfight. She took off all of her clothes and embraced the sunlight. The 20-year-old prostitute was blinded by the sunlight, and she turned into the charred coal. But the town thought it was witchcraft, and the elderly prostitute was banished. And to this day, she still roams the woods naked and blinding people and turning them to charcoal with her naked body. And she targets people, get this, she targets people with black mustaches, black boots, black pants, a black bandana, black hair, and also a silver gun. But all in that order. She also targets people who are sitting in wooden chairs out in the middle of the desert.
Well, I'm safe because I don't have a silver gun. I have 2 silver guns.
Oh, that means she'll bring her friend, the elderliest prostitute. Uh-huh. Well, she'll bring her elderly friend to come and get you, who's 200 years old. It's your story.
And how come she ain't in the Guinness World Records of being the oldest person to live?
Oh no, that's because that's because the chair that you're sitting in already took that record. It's the oldest chair.
This chair looks pretty new. It's a new brand. Have you heard of it?
No, I haven't.
You can't fool me.
Alright, that elderly prostitute story was bungus, but I dare you to tell a story that'll shiver me up my spine.
Well, it's a story we both went through, just the 2 of us.
Really now?
It's a story about how we risked our lives to take on a whole camp full of bandits. And killed some dude with explosive shotgun shells. And you wanna know how much money we got?
How much money did you get?
200 fake dollars and a couple cents off the dead bodies we looted off of. It's more irritating than spooky.
Oh man, that's a terrible story.
So I thought about carving some testiculars on my gun. What do you think about that idea?
Personally,
pretty cool.
personally, if you're gonna carve a pair of testicles in there, you gotta make them white, hairy, and they only one ball in the sack. You can't have two. It gotta be one ball.
Alright, so you want me to carve in Hitler's nuts? I mean nut.
Yes, essentially. Put a little white mustache on the front of them.
But Hitler ain't gonna be born for like I don't know, 10 or 20 years.
Yeah, that does scare the death out of
I don't
me.
even think the Nazi organization has formed yet. You sure are full of lies.
Well, let me tell you a horror story. I call it Moonshine Sundown. Okay, now fuck it, it's a terrible story. I'm gonna call it, this story is called The Testicular Region. Now,
Hey, I have one of those.
I know, which makes it even spookier. There is a legend that there is a deep organization called Buzz Western Feed. It's a newspaper organization, and they're what are known as feminists. Now you probably wonder what a feminist is, right? Well,
they're the idiots who stand on the side of the road with the sign saying, "We need equal rights. The women need equal rights." And they go singing songs about it.
Those are just the top layer of the cake. Underground, they have ones that despise men even more. They shave their heads bald. They're girls that like other girls. They have piercings and weird whimsical tattoos, and they hate AR-15s and men. But you know what they do?
What's a piercing and a tattoo?
A piercing's when you get a piece of metal and you like stick it into your hoo-ha or your like cheek or nose or armpit or basically wherever you want, and it just kind of stays there for forever. And a tattoo is where you inject ink under your skin to make a design.
Alright then. You want the futa?
They